Good evening, fellow ghouls and specters alike. It's your ghost host with the most, Tiki here.
And BlueDragonFive, here to engage in some haunted holiday hijinks by trudging through the catacombs, dusting off the cobwebs, as we recount our spooky selection of Halloween classics.
So light the jack-o'-lantern, suit up, and grab the candy dish as we revive and recount tonight's selection. The Yzma who stole Kuzco-Ween.
Laugh with me, Freakazoid, laugh with me.
I'm surprised it's taken you that long to work that in.
Well, it's a lot better than maniacal laugh.
Maniacal laugh. I love maniacal laugh. That's a
I mean, it's Ricardo Montalban, though. Laugh with me, Freakazoid.
All right. Anyways, how you doing, Dragon?
I'm doing well.
All right, we are inching our way closer to Halloween. Let's jump right into it. Tonight we're talking about a very straightforward episode of The Emperor's New School entitled The Yzma That Stole Kuzco-Ween. Dragon, literally the only memory I have of The Emperor's New School is watching it on the hotel lobby TV, waiting for the shuttle bus to come on a trip to Disneyland.
Huh.
And so I haven't watched much of it, but, I don't know. Judging by this episode, I think I should give it a fair shot because I love Emperor's New Groove. It's one of my favorite Disney movies, and this seems to do a pretty accurate job. At least I think this is at the very least, I think it's maybe a little bit more faithful to the movie and the source material than Krunk's New Groove is, just based on the one episode I've seen all the way through.
Yeah, so here's the thing. So the Emperor's New School was, to my knowledge, it was showrun and kind of created by the original director of Emperor's New Groove. So they had that same talent on it. Different writer, but the same kind of guy leading the ship, if you will. Now, continuity-wise, I mean, essentially this is a follow-up to Emperor's New Groove, and Krunk's New Groove just kind of complicates things. But again, it's like you gotta love the try. It's like it's Kronk. But nothing. Yeah, that's the thing. Krunk's New Groove. It's not perfect, but it's nice and.
Wait, this is a sequel?
Well, the show is a continuation from the movie, essentially. That's from the first movie.
Funny because I just naturally assumed it was a prequel.
Well, no, Tiki. Did you see the opening? Well, the opening kind of sums it up, where he was the emperor, and of course at the end of the first movie he remains emperor, but he's a little bit more thoughtful. And the idea is like there's a technicality, and I can't remember for the life of me if Yzma found the technicality or who found the technicality. But the technicality was he didn't graduate high school.
Okay.
And anyway, I had to go through an Yzma. Basically, it's a very simple premise that every episode, Yzma and Kronk are working against Kuzco, trying to. But God love Kronk. He's buddying up with Kuzco. He's undercover, but by the same token, he's like.
Oh, you see, that's what confused me because I thought that Kronk was like I thought they were both okay. I didn't get the whole Kronk being undercover thing. I'm sorry. I just assumed that Kronk was also in school with Kuzco.
Well, no, he is. I'm saying he's undercover in school. Like he enrolled in the school as well. So it's the same. It's
All right. Basically, Dragon, what I'm saying is that I overcomplicated the premise in my own head.
All right, yeah, and here's the I never saw the ending to the series, and I keep meaning to because I heard the ending's nice, and of course another thing it's indicative of this being kind of a. Again, I like to circling back to your original point, Diggy. I think they do keep a consistent quality, and it's kind of nice considering a lot of our big standout actors, specifically Eartha Kitt and Patrick Warburton, especially Eartha Kitt from about to bring up here. She always voiced Yzma. Even again, like this series was the last thing she did before her passing. She passed away a year after the series wrapped in I believe 2007. And she was around until the end of 2008. So I mean, again, like she dedicated herself to this character.
See, that's exactly why I think I need to take some time when I get the chance. Man, there's so many things I need to catch up on, but you know, I think this season is worth, or this series is worth looking into just for that alone, just for the Eartha Kitt of it all.
Yeah, it's only 2 seasons.
Loves Patrick Warburton as Krunk. I think Krunk is almost the definitive Patrick Warburton character in a way.
One of my favorites, as much as I loved him as Buzz Lightyear as a kid, of course he's no Tim Allen, but at the end of the day, it boils down to that very simple equation. He's great though. He's great, but he can't place the original. But I think you're absolutely right. Krunk is probably the definitive Patrick Warburton performance.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, anyway, last thing here. Oh yes, so yeah, it's only 2 seasons. Again, it's pretty rinse and repeat plot wise, and it's not that. Yeah, it's pretty much it's very formulaic, but it's still kind of cool. And again, like it sounds like the world that you loved in the first movie. And I hear in the second season, I don't know if this is because he became less frequent or what, but they did get John Goodman for the second season for Pacha.
Oh, okay, nice.
A fun fact. That's what I've read at least. Again, I haven't watched it all the way through. I used to watch it. I did watch it regularly when it came on TV, and then there was a certain point where again, I guess it got bumped around the. It used to do back-to-back episodes, and I watched those, and it just kind of went away. So that's kind of where I kind of drew the line with it. It's like, I just couldn't find it. And of course, before now, I can find everything. Okay, so that said, they did kind of I believe they only did they did the 11-minute breakdown like many shows do, and we had kind of the and pretty much every episode series is like kind of a twofer. And the twofer we had here we had 2 Halloween episodes to pick from, and we kind of went with the one because we've been meaning to do this one. We've been meaning to do the first half of this. Maybe we'll get to the second half some other time, some other install, maybe next year, depending how we like this. And it's the Yzma that stole Kuzco-Ween, very much a parody of How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Yes. Okay.
That's it. Let's get into it.
So let's dive right into it. So at first, Kuzco introduces the concept of Kuzco-Ween. You know, tonight we're going to celebrate the best holiday of them all, Kuzco-Ween, and then that cues the theme song.
Yeah, that's how they do every episode, too. They open it like the whole, like, and today we're doing this. And, of course, they cue the theme song. Pretty much like every 80s TV show kind of sums up the premise.
Gotcha.
It's a very 80s premise for the show in itself, too, which I think is just kind of adds to the charm of it.
It's very like Rodney Dangerfield Back to School.
It is, and I love that movie, by the way. Robert Downey Jr.'s in that movie.
Yeah.
Little fun fact. Okay, yes. So Kuzco, basically right after the opening, Kuzco, he gives us a little slideshow, as he tends to do in the Emperor's New Groove, kind of breaking the fourth wall, educating the audience. Gives us a slideshow, gives us a lowdown on the holidays. The most Kuzco-rific. Yeah.
Okay, so we have Koosmas, Koos Easter, and my personal favorite dragon, I think everyone's personal favorite, Koos Arbor Day.
With Bucky the Squirrel. Of course, it's like Kuzco in a Santa suit. It's very, very obvious what they're saying is that Kuzco has basically become the pilgrimage of all holidays, become the mascot of all holidays in the kind of the Incan world that is the Emperor's New Groove.
And this kind of speaks to one of my favorite sort of tropes of a holiday special that we don't see that often, but when we do it right, we do it really right. And that's creative twists on the holiday. And Dragon, you know, one of my personal favorite Halloween episodes is Gravity Falls Summerween.
Yeah.
And this, I'm not going to say it's nearly as good as Summerween is, but not to say it's not a bad episode. It's certainly a fun time, but this is kind of in that same spirit.
Yeah.
All right.
So when we get to Kuzco-Ween, we see young Emperor Kuzco, which did remind me of the opening Emperor's New Groove. We have like the young Kuzco gag. Like, okay, too far back. Let's move forward a little bit. So then we have a flashback to the origin of Kuzco-Ween, which is hilarious. So the origin of Kuzco-Ween, like most inventions, you start with a need. And of course, we cut back to like a pallet. It's like a little. It has his guards carrying him on like that little a little stretcher thing. It's like a palanquin or something, whatever. Then you carry royalty. And it says, "I need candy. I need candy." It's this young Kuzco. It's funny. The young Kuzco is taken to a hut on one of the hills full of all the huts, very much like Pacha's hut. And he says he asks for candy or else, essentially. And you see the guards and Yzma, who would be working for Kuzco, again, following the continuity really well there. Yzma, who loves kind of like torture and stuff. He's like, please say no. Please say no. And the terrified villager, of course, gives him candy. gives him candy, gives him gold, gives him a llama, gives him his "take my wife, please." It's a very much "take my wife, please" joke. The original "take my wife, please" joke. Ah. Then we go to the next house, and I tried looking up her name, but it's that's the thing. This character apparently in the history of all the Krunk's New Groove, Emperor's New Groove, and this has no name. I think the filmmakers and the commentary for Emperor's New Groove, I think they called her Patty because that's the actress's name. I think it's the waitress character from Munches. The place where Krunk works in Krunk's New Groove. He works briefly at Emperor's New Groove.
AKA the scene that I send literally all my Facebook friends their birthday greeting, which is the whole happy birthday from all of us to you. We wish it was your birthday so we could party too. Hey.
I tell you, after watching this, it makes me want to go back to Emperor's New Groove. I just kept watching.
It really does, man. Emperor's New Groove is such a good movie. We've already done a retrospective on it, I think, but we'll just do another retrospective on it.
I'm not against it. Plus, at some point, we should redo Krunk's New Groove, the commentary, because remember we had issues with that. We should redo that at some point, just for the heck of it.
All right.
But okay, in all seriousness, though, getting back to this. I mean, seriously, I watched my favorite Krunk scene for Emperor's New Groove right after this. Well, we'll get to the scene that made me think of it later on. So, point is, the waitress is there, and we have this really clever. I like this gag. It's kind of cutesy. Where Kuzco's trying to come up with a phrase that is basically another way of saying "give me candy," and per the suggestion of our waitress here, saying you got to come up with something a little more pizzazz when you demand candy. And he comes up with a bunch of things like "give me fudge," or I'll fill your house full of sludge. It's too wordy. We have plunder. A plunder or wonder or something along those lines.
Plunder or wonder what I'm going to do to your house.
Yes.
Then we have lots of candy.
That one's my favorite. I love that one. I demand lots of candy. And of course, ends up on, why don't you try trick or treat? Of course, he works up trick or treat and, of course, gets like that disgusting pill bug looking thing that we see in Emperor's New Groove. So now Kuzco's taking us to the present. Here's telling us how things have changed over the years. For one, Kuzco-Ween is different because there's no hut destruction anymore, for the trick. Because people hate him for that, and it's like, of course, Kuzco's all about public opinion these days. So we changed that over the years. And now he's not the only candy grabber, as we see Pacha's kids all there standing. All there wearing the little Kuzco get-ups. And I love the mask detail. I love how they all have like a masquerade mask for like the main Kuzco mask. I love that idea.
And I love the idea of like the, it kind of very much speaks to the whole like merchandise angle of Kuzco as a character that, it's Halloween, but the only costume is Kuzco. And you have to come up with different variations on Kuzco.
Yeah, I love what we do with that later on, but we'll get there. We'll get there. So of course we have like the standees of the guards too, which is pretty funny. So let's see. Okay, so they're all.
I love the design on the guards, by the way.
Yeah, the guards have always been good. All right, so then we see there's this one. I love it's like, see, this is the kind of absurd stuff that kind of makes me laugh, especially on a rewatch here. So we have Kuzco's building up Yzma being the one person who hates Kuzco-Ween. As we build this up, we see a very obvious silhouette with like an orange question mark. Like, who else could that be? It has to be Yzma. Her heart's cold as ice, and it's Yzma. And we reveal it's Yzma, and of course, blast Kuzco-Ween. It's stupid.
Oh my god.
Oh god. And so we see her what she likes to do, and of course we've set this up, and I think this is something they've done various points in the series too. I can't quite recall, but she has that little pedestal that Krunk puts like basically she always likes the bash Kuzco's head in effigy with a giant hammer or a giant kind of device of some kind. She has like these they call them gourds instead of pumpkins. I guess the Incan equivalent to pumpkins would have been gourds. It's essentially the same thing. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so it has like all these. I just love the intricacy. If you really think about it, you have all these gourds that have Kuzco very well sculpted into it, very well kind of carved out in Kuzco's silhouette and his profile. Yet she's just going to destroy him on this pedestal. Like all of them are done like that. They're all very. Because what would be the point? It can't just be pumpkins. It has to be Kuzco-Ween pumpkins, gourds. So Yzma's crushing a whole bunch of those. Krunk being an old happy peppy assistant on the side there. I'm sorry, you like to take us through this?
You know what? I don't have the list, so if you have the list, by all means.
Let's see.
I just have written down in my notes, so many Cuscos.
Okay, so yeah, this is great. So Krunk thinks, "Oh yeah, you Kuzco-Ween, it's kind of boring it's kind of boring dressing up as Cusco, but you have so many Cuscos to choose from." Forgive me, I'm no Patrick Warburton here. We have the mask gag. It basically holds up all these kind of masquerade masks of various different Cuscos, various variants of Cusco, and I love this sort of gag here. It says, well, there's Emperor Cusco, and there's Whiny Cusco. And basically, it's the same face, but there's like a little alteration, like there's a little hand gesture or something in front of it, or there's an animal variation on it. So there's Emperor Cusco. There's Whiny
Cusco.
There's Cutesy Cusco.
Oh my god.
There's Thoughtful Cusco. There's Llama Cusco. There's Rabbit Face Cusco. There's
Are you having a good time, Krunk?
Yes. I love Kuzco-Ween. I mean, no, I don't. So Yzma, Yzma used to like Kuzco-Ween, but she used to like Kuzco-Ween, but and of course it's too much Cusco now.
But now it's all about Cusco.
Yes. Well, I guess that's why it's called Kuzco-Ween. And what do you want? Yzma-Ween? And then we have my favorite gag in the whole thing.
Oh my god, the gold star.
I completely forgot about it. Again, it's been years since I've...
The star is just amazing.
I can't even remember if I've seen this one, but it seems a little familiar, so I think I might have, because I think I saw the next one before I saw this one. I think that's what I'm remembering. I'm pretty sure I saw the second one that follows this, but my point is, this gag, I lost. I had to pause the video of this gag because I was laughing so hard. So, like anyone would name a holiday that, and of course, because Krunk, give yourself a gold star, and without a second hesitation, Krunk, God love him, one of the best henchman characters of all time. Krunk, God love him. He rushes to there's a little fridge in the secret lab. There's a little fridge. He goes to the fridge, and we have this chart of this little chart of like stars. It's like, I think it's like a 10 square little chart on the fridge with gold stars on it for when Krunk does something good, or Krunk has earned himself a gold star. And we see like I think it's like 6 out of the 10 now, maybe 7. We just added yet another star there. One more, and I get a new potato peeler. I thought 10 stars was the bagel slicer. You gave me the bagel slicer for my birthday. It's such a fun, absurd joke, and this speaks to one of the best things in the Emperor's New Groove as a concept, is that Yzma abuses Krunk. He's the lunkhead, she insults him, but at the same time, there exists those pleasantries between them, Tiki. It exists as, like, she rewards him. It's like a grade school teacher with like a point system, It's like one of those Sylvan learning things. It's like they offer like a little prize cabinet or something. It's like Pearl Points, darn it.
Oh god, it is like Pearl Points.
Exactly, and Krunk's getting a prize and everything. It's like, oh my god, I love that Yzma offers that. Despite, again, she could just does not do this at all. Yet she does, because she likes to reward Krunk for it. Again, Krunk is loyal. He botches things up because he's a good person at the end of the day, but he is loyal to her and he's always there. It's great. It's one of the great hallmarks there. It's a gold star. It's the fact that they would have a fridge there. I don't know, it's funny. So, Iki, do us the honor, take us through the plan.
All right. So I will dress up like a bearded fat man, and then I will climb down the chimney and deliver presents, and I'll call it Yzmas. It's brilliant, 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 I tell you.
So then Krunk interjects.
You missed the part where, how will that stop Kuzco-Ween?
Very well. I'll steal all the decorations.
All the decorations and destroy the whole holiday ourselves.
Can't. I love this. So Krunk can't because he has a Kuzco-Ween. He has to get his Kuzco-Ween costume because he's going as, and I love this one. I really learned my lesson today, Cusco. Which, Tiki, just so you know, every episode has that Cusco, and it's kind of it's a meta joke, and I love it. So that's the Cusco. If he doesn't have the exact line, it's something very close to at the end of every episode. After he learns the moral, he says, I think I've really learned my lesson here today. So I love that exists as a Cusco mask, and I think that's hysterical. So, and of course, then I have to carve the gourd, and I have to. There's a party at Kinsey's. No idea who Kinsey even is. There's a party at some guy named Kinsey's house. and bobbing for, I think he says tamales, bobbing for tamales. Pin the tail on the llama. Then Yzma gives him a look, and of course Krunk, ever loving Krunk, says, I could juggle a few things around, find a way to work for you. I knew I could count on you. So, and that's it. Do I get another gold star for that? And of course, Yzma here, she's playing hardball with him, which I respect. Another gold star for that? No. Then what's in it for me? Well, by sunset tomorrow, Kuzco-Ween will be no more. That's more for you. It's more for you than for me. He says, okay, fine, you get your gold star. Yes, and again, he prances over. He skips over. We have that little the doing 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 as he skips over. Oh my god. Oh, that's funny. Okay, so what? So again, this episode's really short, folks. We're almost at the end of it here. So Krunk,
Yeah.
Do you have the poem by any chance? Because they have
You know what? I don't think I have it word for word. No.
Just trust us, folks. The poem's brilliant. So here's where we enter the Grinch conceit of it all, and I love this conceit for the episode. So Krunk, I assume it's a poetry group, might be the school, not sure. Krunk recites a poem that he wrote. Hi, my name's Krunk. Krunk from over there, second banana, the Yzma, yeah, that Krunk.
El numero duo.
Yeah, it's great. So he recites a poem in honor of the last Kuzco-Ween, the Yzma that stole Kuzco-Ween. And again, the grand conceit of this all, man, it's so rare that we get a Grinch parody at Halloween, aside from the very famous, Grinch, the Grinch Halloween special. Aside from that,
I wouldn't even count that as a Halloween special, to tell you the truth.
Okay, that's a fair point. Regardless, I love the fact that we're doing like a Christmas parody within Halloween. Without even it being like something like Nightmare Before Christmas. Like, how rare is that we can do something like that in something like one of our specials or episodes that we discuss here. Okay, so just bear in mind, folks, there's a lot of great stuff to this here. They said kind of tapered off in a few places here. So essentially, it goes like this. Oh, that Yzma, she's unpleasant. Again, pretty much like me when Mr. Grinch, but for Yzma, it kind of starts off. Oh, that Yzma, she's unpleasant. She's crushing pumpkins and everything, gourds and everything. Her heart is made of ice, and then she gives a very identical Grinch-like smile. Of course, the irony is that this year the Grinch movie comes out next month or so. So, just
I like to pretend that that's not happening.
Right, denial. That's the way to go. Okay. So, Yzma gives this very Grinch-like smile, and it just keeps growing and growing and growing. She's really nasty, spiteful, and paranoid, vicious, slimy, scary. In other words, not nice. Okay, that's great. So they're going around pretty much. They're stealing and switching out everything with all the Kuzco stuff with Yzma related stuff, which again looks very spooky and kind of skeleton like, which of course is very ipso facto Halloween stuff. Again, that's how we do Halloween within Kuzco-Ween. So while everyone's in their huts getting ready for the night, Yzma hurried for her scheme essentially before twilight. Yzma and I hurried for her scheme before twilight. By getting rid of all things Kuzco-Ween and replacing them with Yzma. So they switch out every Kuzco. They switched out every Kuzco mask. One look and you'll scream and run. They added special touches like lizards and bats, and cobwebs, ghost skeletons, rubber snakes and bats. Sorry, I think I said snakes and bats twice, but follow me on that. So. And there's the one. There's the one that maybe you have to check out. My favorite scene from one of my favorite scenes members in the group here. So we see Krunk. Essentially, Krunk is Max in this situation. Krunk is Max and Yzma's the Grinch, and Krunk has to lug the giant bag instead of like the sled with the dog with the giant bag. So great silhouette shot too. The load was heavy, and there's no time to slack. But if I don't get a spinach puff, I might break my. If I don't get a spinach puff break, I'm gonna break my back. Of course, one of my favorite gags in Emperor's New Groove is the spinach puff gag, specifically the big call to act, Krunk's big moment of change in the Emperor's New Groove. And you know what else? I never liked those spinach puffs either. You see how devastating Krunk is. by this before he makes his big motive changes. How emotionally hurt he is by the fact that she never liked the spinach puffs. I guess anyway.
And
So
then Yzma's basically questioning, like, "What are you doing, Crunk?" Oh, sorry, we're in the middle of a poem. It's kind of another fourth wall gag.
yes, and then she says, "Well, Sal, you be quiet, or else you'll make up a riot." And then essentially, she rhymes quiet and riot together. Says, "Oh, I'm doing it too." Well, just wrap it up. And I love it. Yzma gets on board with these things. Like, okay, all right, just you can wrap it up. So then
Well, by all accounts, it doesn't make any sense.
Yep. So they went. So they go door to door, and they didn't stop until Kuzco-Ween was no more. And again, that's the end. I'm Crunk. They get to clap and everything. Everyone's clapping for him and everything. But there's one more hut. I saved the best hut for last. Of course, it's Patch's hut, the big kind of insult to injury. Kuzco's bunking at Patch's, by the way, while he's going to school.
Mm-hmm.
So we see the kids. Patch's 3 kids, and one, I believe one of them's telling the boy, you're not old enough to carve a gourd all by yourself. Not the base of the age-old. So you got to tell you that I imagine that has again. I have to remember back on this. I imagine that one lost its luster over a repeated show. If ever we saw these 2 kids the same joke over and over again. I don't know.
I'm not sure. I could see that. I could see myself fast forwarding those parts if I were watching this on Netflix or something.
Bear in mind, this is like in the. I believe it's like in the 20s.
Like I said, Dragon, if I'm watching this on Netflix, I got to be honest with you. I'm mostly watching it for the Yzma and Crunk scenes.
Well, me too. That's what I'm saying. I think the Kuzco stuff will get formulaic, but the Crunk stuff is delightful. But essentially, so again, I don't know if they do that through repeatedly. I'm just imagining it's like episode 20 out of a season, so I'm imagining that would be you would imagine they would have done that multiple times through the series. Okay, so as the kids get into their usual shtick, we see Kuzco as Emperor again, and bear in mind, it's always kind of a rare sight of seeing him in the Emperor getup, so this is kind of an opportunity to get him back in his age-old famous costume. So Kuzco's dressed as the Emperor, and they say, "Kuzco, you're too old to trick or treat. My friend turned 13. She's still going. Basically, 13 is the cutoff for trick or treating. That's kind of the lesson of the episode. It's a mini lesson, but it's a lesson all the same." So then, of course, we have M2, and we have basically instead of them disagreeing, they are back and forth agreeing that you're too old. Wait, don't you guys usually disagree? So then, as this is going on, the youngest Yuppie, the newborn, the baby that was born at the end of Emperor's New Groove is now like the youngest child, Yuppie. Yuppie has a Cindy Lou Who moment where basically the small gourd falls to the ground and rolls into the other room where Yzma and Kronko are very much identical to the bulb that drops, and is a Cindy Lou Who parody. It's hilarious. Kronk and Yzma hide. She's like, "Oh, this is great." And then, of course, Kronk saying, "Yes, you definitely ruined Kuzco-Ween. Yzma-Ween!" And then the gang walk in, and they see all the Yzma-Ween decorations, the kind of very skilled.
Hold on. We see Yzma's basically being like, you know what? If only there was a way that Kuzco-Ween could get a... Oh, I'm sorry. No, never mind.
No, I think...
We set up the makeover thing.
Yes. So, yes. Essentially, what happens is Kuzco. He's thinking to himself before. I think I jumped the gun a smidge. I think it's right before he walks into the room. He's thinking this. Okay, so right before the gang walks in the room, Kuzco is thinking of like, oh man, if only I could give Kuzco-Ween a makeover and kind of update it with all this stuff here. But that'd be work. And then
basically saying like, you know what, I'm not too old for Kuzco-Ween. Kuzco-Ween's too old for me. I'm a now kind of guy.
Exactly. So, so then they all walk in the room.
So essentially what he's saying is, if only there was a way to give Kuzco-Ween a makeover, but in a way where I wouldn't have to lift a finger.
Yes, and then we have Kuzco walking in the room and saying, "Oh, look, the Kuzco-Ween's been made over, and I didn't even have to lift a finger."
Hey, how about that? It's just like I wanted all along.
It's a Kuzco-Ween miracle. So then, and Yzma saying, "Wait, you don't find this all scary beyond belief?" Which, of course, I love. That's the way we've always described Yzma in the movie. Scary, was this woman scary beyond all belief? Yep, that'd be great. Uh, it's scary but fun, and basically the idea is that Yzma has accidentally created Halloween. I think that's a brilliant idea. I just think it's great. So Krunk, then, oh my god, here Krunk goes. This is like the ending of Psycho, but it's like kind of a more kind of Halloween centric kind of explanation.
Oh,
like
this
the guy.
wonderful. Yes, can I do it? Can I do it?
Sure. So Krunk explains. You know what it's called, right?
Yes, yes.
Go on with it.
This is something that almost never happens, but when it does, it's great. It's a recipe called the best of both worlds. You add a pinch of fun, a splash of games, and bingo, best of both worlds. And then I love the cherry on top. Cherish it.
So what I love too, he has like again, the Krunk. I don't know what the deal with this is, and again, I think it's a runner they kind of took from the movie here, where you can just reach off screen, you can pull down a scroll, and the scroll for a point of comparison. You get the candy from Cusco and the scary beyond all belief from Yzma. You mix it together, some fun, some games, cherish it. All that. It's great. So again, Krunk delivering the moral in a beautiful way there. It's like good old Krunk. So. Kuzco-Ween is basically it's Kuzco-Ween in name, but it's Yzma-Ween essentially. That's the gag there. So they go to Melina's and Tiki. Like Melina here, she's the main girl of the series. Like she's the one who's teaching Cusco. Like she's the moral center, has to kind of teach Cusco the lesson so he can become emperor again. That's the shtick, and he likes her. And I think the broad idea is that Cusco in the first movie, he was very much he shot down all the prospective wives, and I think they were setting it up that she might become his wife or become engaged to him by the end of the series. I think that's what they were setting up. Again, I haven't seen the ending. It's a guess. Anyway, so at the very least, kind of on and off girlfriend. That's kind of what they're going for there. So goes to Melina's. I demand you candy. Says Cusco, aren't you a little old for trick or treating? Says no, neither are you. And really nice mini lesson there of like, no, you're never too old to go trick or treating. Gives her an Yzma-Ween mask, and they're all off in silhouette. And Yzma gets her way, but again, still like she's wishing everybody happy Yzma-Ween, but no one's really gonna know about the name change. Then we have this perfect gag to end things off on. You want to tell them?
Yeah, Krunk comes out and he says, "Oh, which Yzma are you supposed to be?"
Oh, by the way, Krunk is in an Yzma costume himself, and wearing the dress with the giant eyelashes and everything. Looks ridiculous. It's great.
No, I'm sorry. He doesn't say which Yzma are you supposed to be. He's basically just like, "Ooh, who are you? Who are you?"
Melina, is that you? Coach? It's like, is it the coach? Is Melina?
Am I getting close?
No. Says, I am her. Right. Of course, the right. We got right.
Oh, you even sound like her.
Then he's basically he's messing with her face and stretching it out. It's like, come on, seriously. Yzma's not even that ugly. Come on. So that's funny.
All right.
And that's the end.
Basically it.
Yeah.
So, final thoughts?
Final thoughts. It's short, sweet, and a very fun parody of How the Grinch Stole Christmas. It's not conventional at all. It has a very clever resolution, and Krunk still rocks. I mean, I love this thing. I thought it was excellent.
Yeah, it's not like top tier for me. I think like one of the things that maybe would have elevated it even more if the whole thing was narrated. But as we already established, I think the best thing about this show is, Eartha Kitt is Yzma and Patrick Warburton is Krunk, and they deliver, and the Gold Star beat is hilarious, and the Grinch parallels are there. I just maybe wish maybe I was expecting a little bit more Grinch than I got, but that's okay. It's still a really fun time, and I enjoyed the heck out of it.
And she did kind of steal Kuzco-Ween at the end, just no one knows about it.
Right. All right, so that's the end of tonight's selection, and our spirits grow weary. But they'll be stronger than ever next time as we engage in even more haunted holiday hijinks.
Tiki, get a gold star.
I'll turn him into a flea. a harmless little flea. And then
Right.
I'll put that flea in a box, and I'll put that box inside of another box, and then I'll mail that box to myself. And when it arrives, I'll smash it with a hammer. It's brilliant, 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 I tell you. Brilliant, I say. But to save on postage, I'll just poison him with this.